It's like, you know, you have the probe or whatever.
Ryan Garcia linking up with David Benavidez for the Mario Barrios fight is one of those gym stories that sounds cool on paper, but hits different when you understand what's actually happening.
Listen, I'm about to tell you something that's going to completely shatter everything you thought you knew about the Ryan Garcia versus Mario Barrios fight. And honestly, the boxing establishment is probably going to hate me for it. But somebody needs to say what everyone's thinking, but nobody's brave enough to admit. This isn't just another fight on the calendar.
Now, let's talk about this footage where David Benavidez is throwing strikes at Ryan, and Ryan is trying to do the silly shell, trying to roll his shoulder and then return with an uppercut, just like we said in the war room. If he can perfect the silly shell, everybody's going to be in a world of hurt. If he perfects it, because he has the hand-eye coordination and reflexes to make you miss like that. If he perfects it as far as punching out of it with an uppercut, you don't see him throw uppercuts like that. Like bam, bam. If he perfect it, jab and dip, jab, left hook. If he perfect it.
This isn't just two guys throwing hands for a paycheck. What's happening between Garcia and Barrios is a full-scale collision between two completely different philosophies of boxing, two generations, two ideologies that cannot coexist in the same ring without one absolutely destroying the other. And here's the kicker that nobody's talking about. The outcome of this fight will literally determine the future direction of the entire sport. Yeah, I said it, the entire sport.
It's crazy how David Benavidez, as a cruiserweight, can even keep up with Ryan Garcia as a welterweight. And really, Ryan Garcia is the fastest fighter in the game. And still, David Benavidez, Ryan Garcia doing a speed challenge, and David Benavidez is keeping up.
Because what we're witnessing isn't Ryan Garcia preparing for another opponent. We're watching the birth of something dangerous, something unpredictable, something that traditional boxing minds genuinely cannot comprehend or control. Let me paint you a picture that should terrify Mario Barrios and his entire camp. Ryan Garcia, this young phenomenon who social media tried to dismiss as just another pretty face with a left hook.
Ryan Garcia is faster than David Benavidez, and he should be. And Ryan Garcia being as fast as he is, I just think it's more impressive to me that the Mexican monster.
This isn't about copying David's style. It's about sharpening Ryan's instincts under fire. And when you see Ryan absorbing those lessons instead of trying to outshine them, that's when you know this camp is different.
It's like, you know, you have the
Has been locked in a secret laboratory with none other than David Benavidez, a monster of a man who fights multiple weight classes above Garcia and possesses the kind of destructive power that sends shivers down the spines of super middleweights and light heavyweights. But here's where it gets absolutely wild. They're not just sparring, they're not playing around. Garcia has been downloading the Philly shell defense directly from the Mexican monster himself, And we're not talking about some watered-down, Instagram-friendly version that looks cool in highlight reels. No, no, no.
Or Mario Barrios was like, what fool would turn that down?
Right.
You know?
Right.
I mean, it would be absurd. Well, look, Ryan could be breaking down, looking at a fight, breaking down the tape. He's no dummy. These guys all look at each other and say, oh, if I only got in the ring with him, I could capitalize on this or that.
This is the raw, functional street fight version of the Philly shell, the kind that gets built in the trenches under pressure, when someone significantly bigger and stronger is trying to take your head off. Think about that for a second. While Barrios has been grinding away with traditional methods, Garcia has been literally absorbing combat knowledge from a fighter who wouldn't look out of place in a higher weight class.
Again, we're both working to the same goal. You want to tighten the screws on the defense to where it's almost impenetrable. Okay? And then, you know, that's the first rule of order, is to get that defense tight. Because at the top of the game, these guys are offensively, how hard you work on it, sometimes you just get caught in the wrong spot, you know, defensively.
You know,
To put a final cap on it, Marcus, it's just that you try to limit the mistakes you make and limit the opportunities defensively that you give your opponent. You have to limit those to you know, zero.
Learning how to survive and counter when speed alone won't save you. And the most shocking moment? During a speed challenge in camp, Benavidez, this massive, powerful fighter, matched Garcia's legendary hand speed. Not almost matched, matched. Let that sink in. When a bigger fighter can move at your pace, it forces you to develop something beyond speed.
Find sparring partners for a style like Barrios.
No, not at all. I seen how he fights, you know, and it's nice. I mean, it's good. Again, I respect all boxers, you know, but it's not gonna be hard to find sparring partners, you know. Just gotta have the same height, you know, as he is, and that's it. Just go from there. But Ryan's tall too, so you had Devin Haney too at 47. First things first, you know, we got to get through Barrios, and Barrios, you know, he's just somebody you got to, you know, be well prepared for, you know.
In the comments here, did the divorce affect Ryan at all?
Did the what?
The divorce.
Well, he isn't divorced.
Okay.
It forces evolution. Garcia isn't just training, he's undergoing a complete metamorphosis that Barrios' team couldn't have prepared for because they don't even know it's happening. But wait, because the plot thickens like honey in winter, on the other side of this brewing storm stands Mario Barrios with his general, the legendary Joe Goossen, a man who represents everything old school, everything traditional, everything that refuses to bend to the modern era of boxing. Goossen is out here operating like it's still 1985. And honestly, that's exactly his superpower and his potential downfall, all wrapped into one beautiful contradiction. This man doesn't care about your Twitter takes. He doesn't scroll through Instagram looking at training clips. He doesn't get distracted by the noise, the drama, the online chaos that swirls around Ryan Garcia like a permanent hurricane. Goossen's mission is brutally simple and terrifyingly effective.
Ryan does beat Barrios.
Do you think he beats? Do you think he beats him first?
If he does, it's gonna be because of his speed. It was he wasn't it. Let me pause for a second. My 10%. I got time, probably. If he does beat him, it's gonna be because of his speed matched with his power, and he possibly puts Mario Barrios down. Right? My thing with Ryan is this, man. He never has a game plan. He promises the left hook, he's gonna give you the left hook. You never really see him set up shots. You see him more so just executing and then backing out and then executing.
Make Mario Barrios so defensively sound that breaking him down becomes a mathematical impossibility. We're talking about turning Barrios into a puzzle so complex, so tightly constructed, that even Garcia's explosive speed and power find no openings, no cracks, no weaknesses to exploit. The game plan is pure chess. Patience, discipline, fundamentals executed to absolute perfection. Where Garcia is chaos and momentum and modern unpredictability, Barrios under Goossen becomes order, structure,
sort of like a renegade when it comes to boxing, man. He's just gonna get in the ring. He's just gonna, if you shoot, I'm shooting. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
That's who Ryan is. I think Barrios is really solid in the fundamentals. Like, he's a fundamental boxer first, right? So that can get him past and lead him to winning this fight just off the fundamentals, man. So I don't really know. That's a 50-50 for me.
The immovable object meeting the unstoppable force. And here's the terrifying reality that Garcia's team might not want to acknowledge. Old school boxing wisdom has survived this long for a reason. It works. It's defeated flashier styles. It's outlasted trends. Goossen isn't trying to out-hype Garcia. He's trying to out-science him, outthink him, turn Garcia's greatest weapons into liabilities through pure defensive brilliance and counterpunching precision. The collaboration between Garcia and Benavidez
has to do with marriage, whether it's an argument or a separation or, like you said, divorce. It's going to affect the boxer somewhat, you know, but a professional boxer should know that that's his job, what he has to do, and he's got to really put everything aside and just focus on what's at hand. And that's something that you don't want to use as an excuse to say, you know, the only thing that you could use for an excuse if something happened during training camp that still is carrying over.
Reveals something that should absolutely terrify Barrios' camp if they're paying attention. Garcia is actively addressing his potential weaknesses, specifically the moments when speed alone won't be enough, when he needs defensive solutions and counterpunching answers against a fighter who won't give him easy openings. The Philly shell isn't just about looking slick. It's about creating angles, about making opponents miss while maintaining offensive threat, about conserving energy while your opponent exhausts themselves trying to land clean shots. If Garcia has genuinely absorbed even a fraction of what Benavidez can teach him about this defensive system, Barrios is walking into a completely different fighter than the scouting reports suggest. And that's the nightmare scenario for any opponent. Preparing for one version of Ryan Garcia only to discover on fight night that a new, evolved, more complete version has emerged. The speed and power will always be there. Those are God-given gifts. But adding layers of defensive sophistication and counterpunching patience, that transforms Garcia from a dangerous puncher into a genuine elite-level boxer puncher who can win fights multiple different ways. But let's not sleep on what Goossen is building with Barrios, because that would be a fatal mistake. The old-school approach isn't outdated, it's timeless. While everyone's focused on flash and social media metrics, Goossen is quietly constructing a defensive fortress that could frustrate Garcia into making mistakes, into reaching for shots, into abandoning discipline in search of the knockout that might not be there. Goossen's fighters don't beat you in spectacular fashion. They beat you through accumulated advantages, through winning more exchanges than they lose, through making you work harder for every single inch of the ring. The strategy against Garcia isn't rocket science. Make him miss, make him reset, disrupt his rhythm, force him to box for 12 rounds instead of hunting for one explosive moment. And if Barrios can implement this strategy, if he can remain patient when Garcia's speed is making him look foolish, if he can stay disciplined when the crowd is screaming for action, if he can trust the game plan when every instinct says to engage in a firefight, then he becomes the kind of problem Garcia hasn't proven he can solve consistently over a full championship distance. The Garcia family's perspective adds emotional weight that you simply cannot ignore. When Henry Garcia talks about unfinished business, about taking Barrios seriously as a legitimate threat, he's not playing to cameras or building hype. He's acknowledging reality. Barrios isn't a stepping stone. He's a trap fight, the kind of opponent who might not be the biggest name, but possesses exactly the skill to expose weaknesses in a higher profile fighter. These are the fights that derail careers, that force fighters to reevaluate everything they thought they knew about themselves. And the Garcia camp's awareness of this danger is either going to be their salvation or won't matter at all when the punches start flying. Because awareness doesn't block punches. Preparation doesn't automatically translate to execution. You can know exactly what Barrios is going to do and still not be able to stop him from doing it if his fundamentals are tighter than your solutions. Durrell's coin flip analysis is perhaps the most honest assessment anyone's given. This isn't a fight where one guy is clearly better. This is a legitimate stylistic collision where the outcome depends entirely on which fighter can impose their strengths while minimizing their weaknesses. Garcia needs to fight his fight. Aggressive, explosive, taking risks to create openings for his devastating power. Barrios needs to fight his fight. Patient, technical, making Garcia uncomfortable and frustrated through superior positioning and defensive responsibility. The fighter who can force the other to fight on his terms wins. The fighter who gets dragged into the other's preferred style loses. It's that brutally simple and that impossibly complex at the same time. And somewhere in the middle of all this analysis, all this preparation, all these competing philosophies and approaches, two human beings are going to step into a ring and try to hurt each other badly enough to win a boxing match. All the training, all the strategy, all the predictions collapse into pure reality when that first bell rings. What happens next will define both careers, will influence the sport's direction, and will prove once and for all whether boxing's future belongs to the renegades or the traditionalists.